Let's see if we can get some people to come in here. Try to do this late. I just got really bored. So I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and go live on the YouTube channel, see if we can get anybody to come on. I'll give it like a minute and a half or so. If we get any people in here, I'll give it a few minutes. We get some people in here, I'll stay live and we can talk. We can hang out, talk some stuff. If not, I'm just going to go ahead and go off. Sitting in my room bored. So I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and just try it out. What's going on, man? How you doing? Like I said, I'm going to give it just a few minutes, see if we can get this room packed up. I know it's late. I didn't give no notice for this at all, so I don't really expect a lot of people to show up. But I was bored. I didn't have much to do. I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and go live, see if we can get anything going on over on the YouTube channel. We can all sit down and talk some Pistons or whatever. What's going on, man? What's going on? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. What's up, Rob? How you doing, man? Yeah, man. Same here. I'm over here just all I've been doing is I've just been sitting in my room playing Madden right now. I've been my fiance is gone. She went up north to go camping with her family and everything. So I'm just sitting at home doing nothing really. So I was like, you know what, let's just try to go live on YouTube and talk about some Pistons, man. Might as well chill with you while I watch some college football. See, I wish I could get into college football because then maybe I wouldn't be as bored like this. But I hate college. I just can never get into college sports. I just can't do it. So everyone else is always freaking out around this time of the year. And I'm always just like, okay, let's wait for the NFL season. Like I got one more week and I'm good. Been playing Hades on the Switch. I got a Switch right here, man. And I haven't played it in like probably like a month or so. I just play like Smash Bros every now and then on it. What else do I play? Do I play anything else on that? Smash Bros and I'll play Mario Kart every now and then. I was thinking about getting a new Mario Party game on there, but I don't really touch the Switch that much. So I was like, I don't know if I want to do it. But so we got a few people in here. I don't expect this to be a lot of people in here. Like I said, I didn't give no one any notice on the podcast, on the YouTube channel. I was just like, screw it, I'm bored. But I want to just talk about some Pistons real quick, man. How you guys feeling about the offseason? Those of you guys who are in here, how you guys feeling about the offseason? How you guys feeling with a month away from, I believe the first preseason game is what, the 4th of next month? We're 1 month away. Training camp starts soon, man. How you guys feeling? You guys feeling good about the team? You guys excited? You finally got some stuff going on? Like what's going on? How you guys feeling? Oh yeah, I'm hungry for some Pistons basketball too, man. Like I think what clearly shows that like all of us are so like we're fiending so bad for Pistons basketball that like we were sitting here like every single day refreshing the Rico Hines YouTube channel just for some pickup runs, man, because we all just really want some Pistons basketball to come on, bro. So I feel it, man. I'm eager for it. I can't excited. I'm so excited, I should say. I'm hopeful but realistic optimism about this roster. I mean, I think it can be plenty hopeful. I think there's plenty to be hopeful about. There's plenty to be excited about. I think this team is going to be extremely fun this year. I think the young core is extremely exciting. I've told you guys know this on the podcast a lot. I've said many times that I'm more excited. I'm not going to care about the win-loss. Like I'm not looking forward to that. I think everything else, whether it's wins or losses, I think they're going to be fun to watch. And I think it's going to be a lot of exciting basketball this year with a lot of young guys, a lot more athletic young guys. I think Jane Ivey's going to bring a different element that makes this a lot more fun for us to watch. So, yeah, man, I think you have plenty to be hopeful for, not just this year, but moving forward, man. This young core, this team is pretty fun. The front court still confuses you. Yeah, I think the front court confuses a lot of us. I don't know exactly what their plan is here. I've been saying for a minute that I think that they should move one of the vet bigs to try to make it make more sense. But no, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I think it's pretty clear they're probably going to go with Stu and Bagley, and that takes up 2 big guys. But then after that, like you have to try to find room for probably Duren, KO, and Noel. That's one of the things that's going to be really interesting to see. Like, do they make a move before season starts and get rid of one of those bigs, or do they just sit one down and not play, or just Duren start in the G League? Like that's one of the things we're all going to be watching for. Feel like it went great. We have phenomenal foundation. All we need is time and we're set. Yeah, man, just time. Team just needs time, bro. I think if you look at this team compared to where like it was when Troy Weaver like took over like before, like their young core beforehand was like Bruce Brown, Luke Kennard, who was it? Was Sekou here yet? Sekou, like that was the young core that they had. And you compare it to now, like it's only been what 2 years really. I know it's probably going on 3 seasons, but really 2 years. 2020 when he took over, and it's been just a crazy flip, man. It's been crazy. You got Cade, obviously. I was a little bit lucky, but you got Cade, Sadiq, Jaden, Jalen Duren, Marvin Bagley, Isaiah Stewart, Killian, all kinds of stuff. You got really, you got a really nice young core, interesting young core. It's pretty. It's a nice foundation to have for sure, for sure. I think it would probably be a nice foundation already, even if you just had Cade. Like just getting Cade, and if you had nothing else, like that already is a good foundation because getting the guy is the hardest part about building up a good team. I'm eager to see who will step up and replace the Jeremy Grant output. I think that right there is what I think the team's what's going to cause them to lose so many games. I feel like because you guys know I wasn't the biggest fan of Jeremy Grant. Watching him play, I didn't like watching him play very much at all. You guys know that I didn't want him on the team past the trade deadline, all that kind of stuff. But just being objective and throwing all that stuff out the window, he probably was like consistently throughout the whole year, probably their best NBA player at one point. Probably later on in the season, Cade and eventually probably took that over or came close to taking it over. But he was realistically probably their best player. So completely just getting rid of him, while I think it's good for the immediate future because you're not really worried about wins, I think it's great that they did it and what they got for it. It's probably not going to help a lot in the win-loss column either. You can't just lose like a player like Jeremy Grant, just completely let him go and then think, you're probably going to be just as good win-loss wise before him. Maybe they are. Maybe we have multiple guys take crazy steps forward, but I think, it's going to be hard to replace that. Jeremy Grant was, despite the fact, like you say, right here, it's not fun watching a player to shoot 10 long mid-ranges. Yeah, he was doing that, but I think all of us would agree Jeremy Grant's a pretty good player, and just completely getting rid of him probably is going to hurt the win-loss column for at least, I think, beginning of the season at least. Shooting is the big question mark. Could go a lot of different directions. I'm excited to see. The shooting is what really concerns me the most when you're like, if we're just talking like not the future and not how fun the team's going to be. If you're talking about like actual product on the floor, like how are they going to play? I think shooting is going to be like the biggest thing that is going to hold them back from being like a decent team. I think that right there, because last year you guys have heard me say it over and over. They were a historically awful shooting team last year. Not just like one of the worst teams in the league last year. Like it's historically awful shooting wise, off dribbles, off catch and shoot, off pin downs. I brought up the numbers so many times. Like I don't feel like they really addressed that, and it's not a big deal. I mean, we've said that. I've talked to you guys about that a lot. It's not that big of a deal because you're more worried about development and seeing these guys get better. So if you don't have, a lot of spacing and you can't get a lot of wins, as long as these guys are getting better individually, you'll deal with that. But yeah, I think that's right there is going to be what I'm going to be watching for the most. Because I really do. I don't know if they did address that this offseason. Who did they address it with? Alec Burks. I mean, outside of that, I don't think they really addressed the outside shooting. So they're going to desperately need Stu to definitely pick it up from outside, Killian to pick it up from outside. Probably should give a lot more minutes to Isaiah Livers to try to counter that kind of thing. I doubt they play Noel. Honestly, I think he's here for vet presence. But yeah, I'd be for moving one of them. See, the thing is that like I could get that. I think he'd be fine in like the vet presence role. But I don't think he's at that point of his career, though. Like, I don't think these guys are at the Corey Joseph part of their careers. I feel like Noel and KO both could go play for a contending team or go play for a good team and get consistent minutes for those guys. So I don't know if, like, honestly, if I was a GM, and I think Weaver's kind of like this from what we've seen so far, he's got like a player's GM. If that's the plan with Noel, I would just, like, do him a solid and move him to another team. Because just from the outside point of view, it kind of, I think it's kind of messed up if you ask Noel or KO to just be like, hey, you're not going to play no more. Because I don't think they're like just trash players. I think they could go play for a contending team. I think that would be kind of tough to ask them to do. I don't think that they would be pretty happy about doing it either. Stu has been looking good in Summer League and pickup games. Excited to see the steps he takes. Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see it. You guys know that I'm not the biggest believer in him going from, what was it, less than 1 3-point a game, 33% on that in his career, to like 4.5 attempts and shooting 35%. It could happen. I'm excited to see if it does, but I think he's gonna have to show me before I can completely believe it. But I've told you guys in like the last episode, I think, I'd be lying if I said like what I've seen from him in summer league and what I saw from him some pickup games and some workouts, how his jumpers looked. It's making me more and more excited and making me want to believe even more in it. I'm still going to need to see it during the regular season. We've been duped before by off-season workouts and stuff, but his jumper definitely looks more fluid, looks more smooth. He seems much more confident in it. The front office, coaching staff seems a lot more confident in it as well from what all they've said this offseason. So it's definitely plenty to be excited about with that, and I'm excited to see what it turns out to be, what he did, how big of a step forward has he actually taken, what's he going to do when he ends up missing, like, because at some point he's going to miss like 5, 7 in a row, 8 in a row, 9 in a row. Like, that's going to happen. Like, does his confidence fall off? Does he continue shooting? I'm interested to see that whole development with Stu, because it's incredibly interesting. On top of draft position, it seems intentional. Kind of handicaps this roster. I'm not sure what you're asking there, but if you want to send it back like a different question, so I can kind of understand it a little bit better. I don't really get what you're trying to say. But yeah, man, I just wanted to get on here and talk with y'all real quick. Like I said, I was bored. My fiance's gone. She's up north. I ain't got nothing to do. I've told you guys this before in the podcast. I'm going to continue to notify you guys of this. I'm getting married in Jamaica next month. I'm going to be gone at the end of this month, beginning of next month too. So I won't be having like updates for the preseason games, training camp and stuff. I will be in Jamaica. I suggested possibly recording down Jamaica. I almost got thrown out that window back there. So that was my first mistake as a married person. I made my first mistake. Don't ever like do something like that. And for those of you guys who aren't there yet, don't do it. Don't do it. You're trying to get like ousted. All right, let's go ahead and answer some more. How did you feel about Cade Cunningham, how he played in the Rico Hines games? I'm not reading too much into the Rico Hines games, man. First of all, the Rico Hines footage didn't really give us a lot on the Pistons. You have to go watch the Ball in His Life one to really get like a feel for what was going on, because that one gave a lot more footage of the Pistons. But, I don't know if we really saw a lot from Cade. It didn't show misses. I'm not sure they even showed every make either. I think they just showed highlights. But yeah, I thought it was cool that they're getting out there and playing against some guys like Steph Curry, some guys, Pascal Siakam, Scotty Barnes, OG Anunoby, all those type of guys. I think it's cool that they're getting out there and playing against these guys, running pickup runs. But outside of that, I didn't really pick up anything else from Cade. Actually, I did take one thing with Cade. He's strong as hell. He looks like he's gotten much, much stronger. That wasn't just talk. He looks like he's aged 5 years. That's for sure. Outside of that, I'm not really looking at anything. I'm still a big roster, trying to figure out what we do with those salary cap dump players. Honestly, I think a lot of those guys like Nerlens Noel, Alec Burks. I don't think Kemba Walker is going to be in the season. I think he'll probably get waived before then. But Noel, Burks, I think they're probably going to be just held throughout the season and just decline their team option at the end. If a contender needs one of those guys, that they'll get flipped at the trade deadline. But outside of that, I think they're just going to be here throughout the season, I should say, and then they'll just get their option declined, and then they'll take the cap space in the next year, which I think is a smart move. Unless you can flip them at the deadline, I think that would be flipping them at the deadline. I think would be really nice, but that obviously you need two people to tangle there. So we'll have to see if a contender is interested in them at all. Casey was stopping Stu from shooting before. I don't think he was nervous. He said he wasn't. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm sure Casey did say that at the beginning of the year, he wanted him to focus on what he was good at and not have to focus so much on outside shooting. But I feel like Stu just didn't look comfortable in it, even himself. He didn't. I feel like his jumper looked different as well. I don't feel like Stu was very comfortable in his shooting at all last year. It looks like he's much more comfortable and confident in it right now, based off the offseason videos we've seen. So I'm excited to see what it looks like when the season starts. Yo, is this being recorded? Yeah, it's being recorded. I was gonna delete it if it wasn't gonna be a lot of people in here. If I was just gonna be in here for like 5 minutes or so, I was gonna delete it. But we got like 30 or so people in here. And we would have a lot more if I would give a heads up. But like I said, I was just really bored. Just want to go live and talk some Pistons with you guys. So I'll probably leave it up For some people who will wake up tomorrow and be like, "Oh, there was a live. I missed out on it." Blah blah. I'll probably keep it up. I don't know yet though. I might keep it up. I might delete it. I don't know yet. Casey. Oh, yeah, I already read that one. This is a deep team player wise, and only so much minutes to give, assuming they stay healthy. How do they deal with the veteran youth balance as the season goes on? I think that's another thing that's going to be incredibly interesting to watch, because you want a lot of the young guys to get minutes. They have young guys at basically every single position, and you want to get them minutes at some point. But you also have KO. You also have. I don't think Kojo's getting any minutes. I don't think they're worried about that. You have KO. You have Nerlens Noel. But I don't know what they're going to do with that. I don't know if they're going to. I don't know if they're going to have them ride the bench and just be a vet presence, like someone mentioned earlier. I could see a scenario where Duren is playing in the G League to start off the season, and they're just playing Noel in the backup unit. And also, Dwayne Casey loves veterans, so I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what happens? I think they should go more young centric, just moving forward completely. I think that would be like the most fun for all of us to watch, but I doubt that happens. That rarely ever happens. I doubt we're bad enough to get a top 5 pick unless injuries and we deliberately tank. All right, so this is a topic that's been going on. I've been a center of for like the past week or so. I just want, since you asked the question, let me pull this up right quick. So the Pistons over under on the their betting over and under is like 27.5. Last year they won 23 games, and they were 14th in the East. My thing is that like even like assuming a 10 plus win leap is pretty hefty. If they win 10 more games, that would be an extremely successful season. But jumping 10 games when you just lost Jeremy Grant and you're replacing them with rookies and other young guys, you don't see that ever happen. So my thing is if they improve, let's say, to 30 wins, they go from 23 to 30 wins, which would also be an incredible big jump. That would be 7 games is a big jump for a young team like that. So if they go from 23 to 30, if you're basing it off of last year's standings, they just move up one spot in the East. So they'd be 13th in the East, and they would still be 1-2. They'd have exactly the 5th best odds in the draft. So that's where I'm like coming from with that. I think they could take an improvement. The East has gotten so much better. It's gotten so deep. And I don't think people quite understand how far behind the Pistons were last year than everybody else. Like I just said, they could jump 7 games this season and only move up one spot if you're looking off last year's standings in the East. So like, I think you could see a jump in win-loss, but they would still like not move very, very much in the standings. So it's like, I don't know. I think it's more likely they get like top 5 odds than they do get to the play-in. The East got a lot better. Like, even if you get 10 plus wins, like say the Pistons go from 23 to 33 wins, they're still not the 12th best in the East. If you go off last year's standings, Washington had 35 wins. So if you're talking about trying to be competitive based off last year's standings in the play-in, you're looking at like a 13-win increase. And that's unheard of with young teams like that. That's crazy. So I don't know. I don't know. If it happens, obviously all of us will be excited. A lot of things must have went crazy right. But I think that's pretty hefty. I think that would be pretty crazy if it happened. I think they're probably going to win between 28 and 30 wins. And like I said, I think that still gets them around 12th in the East, 13th in the East based off last year's standing. So we'll see what happens though. Rico Hines says, made me want basketball more, not a lot there. Yeah, exactly, dude. I watched it. I was at work and I watched it and I was like, dude, this shit wasn't anything. Like this was nothing. Like what the hell was this? So I'm not exactly familiar with the free agent class next year, but I heard it's much better than this year's. Do you think the Cavs are a good example for the Pistons considering building a team? I think the Cavs are a really good example. I think the Pistons right now are at like, I think next year is where you see the Pistons become last year's Cavs. Because Cade's entering his 3rd year. I think Garland was entering his 3rd year when they took that jump last year. Or 3rd and 4th year, one of those. So I think Cade will be entering his 3rd year. Sadiq will be entering his 4th. Jaden Ivey will have a year under his belt. And you'll probably have another top prospect on your team along with all that cap space they have this next off season to either make a big trade or a big signing. I think definitely next year is where you're going to see them jump into the playoffs. I think this year would be another development year. They're going to develop. They're going to try to grow together. But then next year, I think that's where you see them really show up win-loss wise and show up like that. I think the Cavs are a good example. Try to build a good foundation, develop your guys, and when you feel like they're somewhat fully developed, not even like fully developed. Let me change that. When you feel like they've gotten to a point where they are ready to play for winning games, when you feel like they're ready for that, then you go out there and make their moves. I don't think they're ready right now. A lot of these guys are still finding themselves. Not a lot of these guys are great NBA players yet. They're still trying to grow and become better and become good NBA players. So I don't think it would be wise to go for that right now. Next season, I think that's when they'll be ready. I think Cade will be ready. I think Sadiq will be ready. I think Killian and Isaiah Stewart should be more ready. Jane Ivey won't be a rookie. I think he'll be more ready. So I think that's where they go right there. Expectations for Bagley, and do you think Duren could end up as a starting center at the season's end? I think that's something we're actually going to talk about on the podcast soon. Do I think that Duren could be the starting center by the end of the year? Yes. I think there's a very big chance that Duren starts by the end of this season. He may be the starter. I think it's incredibly likely. I think he probably takes Bagley's spot. If Stu actually is a good shooter, is a decent shooter at the 4, I think he plays the 4 no matter what throughout the season. But if Duren can develop or come along to where he's ready to get NBA minutes and he's decent defensively to where he can, like, most rookies are terrible defensively, but if he can at least like get block shots around the rim and be somewhat of a rim protector, he automatically brings something that Bagley doesn't now at the 5. And he also is just as much of a lob threat, if not more, than Bagley too. So I could definitely see Duren starting by the end of the year at some point. Raptors fans ate you, bro. So guys, I want everyone to go see this I am a fun guy username. You guys remember like a month and a half ago, or actually right at the end of the season, when we had that episode where I said Cade Schroeder won the Rookie of the Year? This guy right here has been commenting on my videos for the last 3 months talking about it. He's supposed to be a Raptors fan. Why I know I'm a fun guy is, why do you keep coming to a Pistons channel, giving me a view, which helps me, just to say a comment, which also helps me because it makes it more viewable on the YouTube algorithm. So why do you like supporting me? Why do you keep doing that? You like, I don't get what your whole point is. Shouldn't you be happy about what's going on with the Rico Hines run? You guys should have played down on Rico Hines for real instead of going down. Where'd you guys play at? Miami or something during the pandemic? You guys should have played over there. You guys actually look like a great team over there. All right. If you had $10 million on the line, what would you bet the Pistons starting 5 is? That's the burning question, dude. So I think it's obviously Cade and Sadiq. I think they have to start Jaden. So I think they start Ivy next to Cade and just get that development out the way. And I think they go Stu and Bagley. I think they're very much convinced and very much bought in on trying the 2 big man lineup and trying to see, does Stu actually have this 3-point shot in him? Can he cover for some of the weaknesses that Bagley has defensively? That kind of thing. So I think they're completely bought in. I think that's where I'd put the money down right now. The 2 spots that I'm more that in that starting lineup that has me questioning it a little bit is Ivy. I don't know if Casey will go with Burks to start off over Ivy in the starting lineup. And then also Bagley. I don't know if they want to go, will they go Stu Bagley? Will they go Stu Noel? Or will they go Stu Livers? So I think 3 spots or 2 to 3 spots are locked. And then after that, it's going to be, I think you might see some of it play out in preseason, depending on how guys look in there. So I think that will be important for the starting lineup. The East got better this year as well. Yeah, the East got a lot better. Like the East, and that's what I was talking about in this last podcast we just had, like with the Donovan Mitchell trade. Like the Donovan Mitchell trade doesn't change anything for the Pistons. Like I said that very clearly. It doesn't change anything for it, but I think it puts into perspective, like just how good the East is getting, just how much the Pistons need to like accumulate talent, how much talent they need. Because look at how deep the East is, and look at some of the players on the Eastern Conference's teams. Like seeing the Cavs get Donovan Mitchell should put in perspective for Pistons front office and Pistons fans. Like, okay, this is what these teams are doing. These are the kind of players they're putting out there. This is how deep these teams are. This is like the blueprint of where we have to go. This is what we have to do. We have to make sure we get that. And if we don't have that, we have to go get it. eventually, like that kind of thing. So I think that's what it did for the Pistons fans and Pistons front office. Like, put it in perspective. It didn't change anything. Like, everything's still going to go according to plan. You don't change your plans or something. But I think it just puts into perspective. Like, yep, all right, these guys, like, this East is not playing around. There's like 9, 10 teams. They're going with 2, 3 stars. They're going like 10 deep with wings, big wings. Like, we got to get ready for that. We got to get ready for this. These are a lot of young teams, too, that are going to grow with us. We have to be able to counter these guys moving forward and accumulate that type of talent, too. I think that's what it did. Why don't you just base it on what you think they have as players? They were tanking to a degree last year, too. You're underestimating their talent. I'm not underestimating their talent. Their talent is all 21-year-olds. Like, don't think people understand that, like, replacing arguably your best player in Jeremy Grant with rookies usually doesn't translate to wins. Like, you didn't replace if they were going for, if Weaver was going for wins this year, he would have made signings in free agency instead of taking on bad contracts that have expiring deals. Like, Weaver's moves in the offseason signaled what he believed this season would be, and that would be a development year. If he thought this year was the year to try to go for a play-in spot, he would have made some signings in free agency. He would have made some win-now moves. Instead, he took on bad contracts, got another future pick, and settled for another development year, which I think was the right move, But yeah, I don't think replacing arguably your best player with 2 20-year-olds and one 18-year-old, a guy who's going to be the youngest player in the league, that's not, I don't see how that translates. You think that translates to over 13 wins improvement. I don't see how anyone can really see that. That's kind of crazy to me. Trades are big this year. Yeah, I think, I don't know if it's going to be this year they make a trade, like at the deadline. I don't know if they make it at the deadline. I think they make some in the offseason, though, next offseason. Either they make a big signing, which I don't know if they like any of those guys in free agency, or they make a big trade and use the cap space that they have to take on a bigger contract dude. Like, I could see that happening next offseason. I definitely see it like a swing happening next offseason for sure. I don't know if it happens at the deadline, but definitely 100%. 100%, I think it happens next offseason. I think defensively, Stu probably still plays the 5. Yeah, definitely. He's not going to play the 4. I think they're still going to have him guard the 5s. I don't think Bagley is nowhere near equipped to do so. I'm done answering this. I'm a fun guy, dude. I don't understand why he's in a Pistons chat, chilling in here. Development and lottery all while having exciting basketball in the meantime. Exactly. That's what they're going for. That's what they did. They're going for another development season, which is going to be a lot of fun basketball, a lot of up-tempo basketball. You're going to see guys get better as the season goes on. And at the same time, you're probably going to have yourself around a good pick next year, too, to add on to it. Like, it's a win-win. It's a win-win. It's not going to translate to a lot of wins, but it's going to translate to a lot of development that will lead to wins in the future while also being able to add stuff next offseason. I think it's a great win-win. I think it was a tremendous decision by Weaver to make this past offseason. Replacing players with young players like Cade, Sadiq, and Jaden is different than regular young players. How? Jaden's a rookie. Like, when do you see rookies just come in and, like, I don't see how you see that. Jaden's a rookie, expecting him to come in, and he has struggles I think he's going to have to get through, and that's fine. He's not going to come in as a superstar. He needs to get there. Saying he's going to just come in and be a star or something, I think that's a little too much for him. Cade has to get better from beyond the arc. Like, these guys have stuff to get better at. Like, Cade has to become more efficient. He wasn't very efficient last season, but he's still going to be a future MVP. I think he's going to be a future MVP. He's a fucking monster. But, like, that doesn't mean he's already there. He has to grow to that. Same with Sadiq. These guys still have plenty of holes in their game that they have to grow to. These are not complete players that are ready to just come in and add 5-10 wins. They have places to get to. We need players who finna take kneecaps with them. Yeah, to get Dan Campbell on the coaching staff who'll have these guys out here tackling dudes. Congrats on the upcoming wedding. Do you think they should tank for Victor Wembanyama? I think that's how you say his last name, considering how deep the East is. I think this is where this is how I'm going to answer your question. People get hung up on the tank word. If you say that they're going to restore this season, I think everyone jumps on board with it. So I guess when you say tank, do I think they're going to, like, I had someone tweet this at me or comment in one of the YouTube videos. You think they're going to sit Cade? You think they're purposely going to just not play Cade or whatever? No, I don't know. I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to play all the young players. I think they're going to play them a lot of minutes, a lot of rookies, a lot of minutes, a lot of young guys, a lot of minutes. And when you play young guards a lot of minutes, a lot of rookies a lot of minutes, that usually does not translate to a lot of wins. So I think they're just outright tanking and trying to like not play their guys? No. I think they understand. I think Weaver understands, hey, we're going to let this be a development year. These guys are going to play a lot of minutes. It's going to develop. And we're probably going to lose games in the meantime. But if we happen to win games, then good thing. Our young guys less some wins, but we're not expecting it. I think that's where they're at. So I don't think they're just out here like, no, we're going to purposely lose games. We're going to purposely sit guys down to lose. I think they're just going to like naturally, organically lose games because they're so young. They're so young and they don't have a lot of good veterans, like good NBA veterans that can actually play on the court. They have Burks. I think Burks is probably their best one. Him or KO, if KO can like get somewhat back to what he was a few years ago. I think this will be the last year they get a top pick. Yeah, I agree. I think this year they get, or next year, I guess I should say, next offseason, they get like a top 5 pick. I think they'll probably have like the 5th odds in the draft going to next offseason. They'll get wherever they land with that. If they drop, they go up, whatever. But I think that will be the last time. That offseason, they're going to take that pick. They're going to add it to the young core. They're going to probably make a lot of signings, a big signing, a big trade. And then next season, they're going for a playoff spot, and they may be scary because Cade's going to be entering his 3rd year. And I think Cade entering his 3rd year is probably an all-star, clearly. I think it's going to be tough. I think they're going to show up on the scene next year. I think that's when they really show up. I'm not saying they're making the playoffs. I'm saying it's not beyond them to be ahead of schedule. I mean, I guess we'll see. I'm not rooting for them not to be on like schedule. I think they're on schedule right now. I think being ahead of schedule is winning 7 more games, which gets them to 30 wins, which would, if you're going off NBA standings last year, move them up exactly 1 spot. Like 7 wins, I don't think everyone understands. 7 wins is a lot improvement for a young team. So if they're ahead of schedule and they go up to 30 wins, that's great. But they're still going to only be the 13th team in the East. And that's going to be great too. That's fine too. They made an improvement. Just the East got so much better that 7 wins is not going to get them much higher in the standings, and it shouldn't. It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter anyways. I just don't want Ivy injured, bro. They're so sporadic. Yeah, I don't think any of us want any injuries to happen to these guys. I want them to all play all year, play a lot of minutes, and play through their mistakes. Be allowed to make mistakes on the floor. Don't get yanked out for mistakes. Be allowed to take a lot of mistakes and play through it and learn. So at the end of the season, they feel better about where they are at the end of the season versus where they were at the beginning of the season. I think that's the goal for this season. Not wins, losses. Just do you feel better about your individual improvement, development from where you were in October to where you are now in April? I think that's what the goal is, and that's as long as they feel good about that, this was a great year. It's not tanking, it's player development. Yeah, I guess that's like the best way to say it. Like everyone gets hung up on tanking. Like either way, my whole thing is like I wouldn't call it tanking, but either way they're going to lose games. Like that's my whole thing. Like whether you want to call it tanking, restore, organically developing, what I saw someone say organically tanking, like whatever you want to call it, their roster, they don't have a lot of shooting and they're extremely, extremely young. Jalen Duren's the youngest player in the NBA. So it's like they're not tanking, but I just think it's going to naturally come as losses. Like losses are just going to naturally come. So I guess I wouldn't say tanking, just like organically developing, I guess. Perfect time. It's all coming together. Yeah, it's all coming together, bro. I feel so excited about this core and what Weaver's doing. He's being so smart with this. I give Weaver so much credit for this offseason. He was so smart with what he did this past offseason. So smart, man. He understood that this was not the year to go for it. These guys need another year. They're not ready yet. Going out and cap stringing yourself to a DeAndre Ayton when your young guys are not ready for that kind of pressure yet to win games like that. They need to still fill gaps in their games. They need to still grow. Keep doing that for another season while keeping your salary flexibility moving forward and being able to pick up another pick in Duren. I think this offseason was just so perfect. He's putting this team together perfectly right now. I'm really excited about what he's doing. Congrats on the upcoming wedding, Q. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Who starts the 2, Killian or Ivy? Ivy, 100%. Killian's not starting no matter what. I think it's between Ivy or Burke. Right now, I'm going Ivy, but I could see Dwayne Casey going Burke instead. I could see it. I saw a rookie do it last year. Cade Beast Mode Future Go is going to be good when he's young. Who was the rookie last year that did it? Scotty Barnes had like 5 players who just won a championship 3 years beforehand on his team. If Cade was playing with Fran VanVleet, OG Anunoby, who were veteran all-stars and won championship before, like if Cade was playing with that kind of squad, then I'd say right now they can make the playoffs. But he doesn't have veteran all-stars on his team. He has guys who are probably 2 years younger than him, a year younger than him, guys who are rookies, guys who need to develop. So I don't think that's a fair comparison at all. And that goes back to why I feel like Scotty won Rookie of the Year. They won games, but that wasn't because of Scotty. That was because they had a great team around him. Scotty contributed to the wins, but they had a great team in Toronto. Toronto was a great team. They had a lot of good players. The Pistons didn't have a lot of good players. Cade was asked to do everything. So I feel like that got kind of held against them, but I'm not going to get into that. How do you think the Cavs would match up against 5? And I'm only going to go for about 10 more minutes. I'm happy you guys all tuned in, man. I appreciate it. I love talking basketball, obviously, with you guys. We got another. Hey, I don't know if you guys are on Twitter, all of you, but Sada Baby will be coming on the podcast soon. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. But how do you think the Cavs match up against a 5-out offense like Celtics? I think Garland and Mitchell would be mismatches. Yeah, I think that is the worry there. I think what the Cavs are thinking is that we got Mobley, obviously, and Allen behind them to cover it, along with Isaac Okoro on the wing to check the bigger guys. But I think the Utah Jazz would probably like a word with them and be like, hey, we tried doing it with arguably the best defensive player over the last like decade or so, one of them. And even he wasn't able to do it because they just got point of attack defense was so piss poor. Like he would have to help and then kick out threes over and over. So I think Garland and Mitchell have to get better defensively, especially at the point of attack in order for them to be good and decent. But I'm assuming the Cavs thinking is just that, look, if they're not that great, we got 2 of some of the best defenders in the league behind them, along with a good wing defender. We think we can cover their mistakes. I don't know if they can. I think they're going to be an incredible team. I can't wait to watch them. I think that's going to be the thing everyone's going to be watching for, though. It's a good question. I believe this season is an evolution year to determine who will be a part of the young core moving forward and who can be used as a trade chip. 100%. I think this year is that. You're going to get a lot of answers about Stu. Can Stu be a stretch big? Can he shoot threes? If he can't, I think his future may be a little bit murkier. Maybe just a backup or maybe even more murkier. If Killian doesn't improve, his future is basically non-existent with the Pistons if he doesn't improve. Sadiq, just how much better does Sadiq get? Where can we pencil in Sadiq? I don't think they're ever going to pencil him in as like the number 2 guy on the championship team. Does he have a chance to be number 3? Do we see that improvement to where we believe that? Do we think he could be the 4th best player, 5th best player? Or should we be using him as a trade chip to go get? Like they're going to get those answers this year. I think that's what they're looking for. They're going to look for what kind of development do they get? Do they like what they see? And they're then going to try to project what they saw this year into what they think is going to happen moving forward. I think that you're 100% on right there. That's what this year is going to be about. They should stop saying tanking that makes Detroit organization want to win more games. Tanking is much different. Detroit is competitive. Yeah, I think Detroit is going to be. I agree with what you said. Basically, I think they're going to be competitive. They're still going to lose a lot of games. And another thing, young teams where they struggle the most at is closing games. Young teams are awful at closing games out. I think that's where the Pistons will lose the majority of their games. I think they'll be competitive and then probably lose it late in the 4th a lot, which is fine. You're not going to hold that against them. Young teams are not good at closing games out. They're not vets. They don't have experience doing so. So I think that's where they're going to lose a lot of their games. But up until that point, I think they'll be competitive. Yes, I think that's how it'll probably go. Who's the starting 4? I'm going to take a bet and say Stu right now. Did anyone see Woj tweet saying Kelly, Kemba, and Saban to Dallas? He deleted it immediately. I feel like you're trolling. You're trolling. I didn't get no update here. Now you got me freaking out thinking a trade just happened and I didn't see it. Stop trolling. Stop trolling in the chat. All trolling in the chat is not allowed. It's illegal. It's illegal, especially that type of trolling. Illegal. Not so much looking at the stands. You keep using words like suck and bad. Like, bro, I'm like, I don't get this. If a team is 30-52, what do you call them? What do you call them? What do you call a 30-52 team? Good? You call a 30-52 team? No, they're going to be a bad team. Does that mean they have bad players? No. Does that mean their young guys are bad? No. But a 7-win improvement is good for them. But compared to the NBA, That's a bad team. Like, I don't get how that's like insulting. That's just like, that's like, it is what it is. Like you said, tanking is not playing the best players out there. Yeah, the best players are young. Exactly what you said, Trill City. Their best players are young guys. That's the problem when it comes to. It's not a problem. It's a problem when you're looking at like win-loss and like column. That's when it's a problem because it's probably not going to translate to a lot of wins. But their best players are young guys. They're going to play their young guys. It's just they're probably going to lose a lot of close games and games in the fourth quarter because they're just young. That's just how it goes. Where is it? I saw one of you guys ask me a question about Paolo. I'm trying to find it because I don't want you guys to think I ignored it. I think the question was something like, do I think that if they drafted Paolo instead of who they got, would I change their win project? Would I change their win something? I think that's what the question. I lost it. But to answer your question, if I remember what that question was, no, I'm not changing because Paolo's also young. I think Paolo will be great I think it's what people need to understand. Rookies are usually good for rookies. Like, they can be a great rookie. Rarely ever. Like, you get a few every now and then. Those guys are usually considered generational guys. But even some generational guys aren't good immediately, like compared to the NBA. You can be a good rookie. You can be a great rookie. But when you're talking about just the NBA, you're not talking about just your team or just the rookie class. If you're talking about the entire NBA, most rookies are not good NBA players their rookie season. That's just a matter of fact. Most rookies are not actually good NBA players. They're good for rookies, but most of them are not actually good NBA players. So no, I wouldn't change what I'm saying if they got Paolo. Even though I think they would. You guys know I had Paolo number one. I think if they had Paolo, I'd feel even better about them in the future. But immediately, no, I don't think they'd win like 14 more games or something. I think they'd still be hovering around 30 wins a game. This is the best GM we've had in 15 years. Absolutely, I agree. What draft position would be best for the Pistons? Are you already dreading your in-depth 2023 draft research? Come on, man. Don't do that to me already, man. I got a whole nother year before I have to get back into draft stuff. Come on. I don't want to get into it yet. I got another year, man. Let's talk about fun stuff. I don't want to get back into draft again. I believe this season is an evolution year, but we already talked about that one. Are you going to be at the season opener? 100%. I'll be there. I'm either going to be credentialed for the season opener. I'm just going to be there in the stands. I'll let you guys know which one you guys can meet up with me. People just need to be patient. Rebuilding teams who get impatient and make a move for an all-star never work out. I completely agree. Great show, man. You represent the real Pistons fans, unlike a lot of the talking heads. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. I've been getting a lot of hate. There's a lot of haters, and I know that comes with it. Like I don't want to even say I'm big, but I'm getting somewhat bigger in the community and in the NBA community. You get a lot of hate with it. So every good comment means just as much as like it means way more than bad comments. So I appreciate all of you guys who say all the good stuff to me. Appreciate you. Yes, congrats to the engagement. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. If Casey can continue to show improvement, then waiting to build through the draft is I agree. Exactly, bro. I'm soon to be a ticket season holder. I understand you guys, like the people who are season ticket holders wanting to see a winning team. I don't know if you're even saying that you want to see them win, but you want to see them be competitive, which is 100% what I think they're going to do this year. They're going to be competitive. So I think you'll be fine. If you're going to be mad if they don't win 40 games, I don't think you should have bought season tickets because I don't think that's real. You're not going to get 40 wins. It's not going to happen. I believe this season, you keep saying, stop commenting this one, man. I already read this one to you, man. I already answered this. Or do I keep scrolling up past it? No, yeah, you've already sent it like 2 times. I already read it. Let me answer a few more, then I'm going to get up out of here soon. Appreciate all of you guys who came in here on short notice. Like, I literally just said, screw it, let's go live. My question is why Cory Joseph is still on the team. He's a great veteran. Guys like him. Guys look up to him. He can teach guys. I think that's obviously the reason why he's on. I don't have a problem with that. How long does Casey stay as the coach? I think 2 more seasons. Kay is the rookie last year. Don't care about their award. I'm saying I saw a rookie ball out and be ready to go now. They might not win this year. They'll pass all those teams in the next 2 or 3. Yeah, they'll pass them the next 2 or 3 years. I want to see Cade's improvement. I want to see how much Cade improves this year. I think Cade will be 21-6-6 this year. I think that's why he'll probably be around. I just want to see his efficiency. Does he get better shooting from beyond the arc? Does he consistently finish around the rim like he did the last half of the season? Like, that will be big. That's what I'm looking forward to. I want to see how much he improves in that. I think his finishing around the rim is going to get even better. You guys see how yoked he is? Like, that man was eating his protein this offseason, man. That's like, he looked like he aged like 20 years for real. 32-win team won't grow into a 50-win team without major changes to the roster. Yeah, I think that will come next year, though. Next offseason, there'll probably be a 30-win team. And actually, I don't even know if I agree with that either. That I think they could be a 30-win team this year because they're in their rookie second year. But then going into their third, fourth year, like, guys don't hit their primes until like 25 years old. I think that's where people usually say the guys are in their prime. Like, I think let's say if they just didn't make any moves, which I think they're going to do, they're obviously going to make moves. But I'm just saying, let's just do a hypothetical. If they made no moves with this team and just continue to let these guys grow, I think there's a legitimate chance you could take this team. They go from like 30 wins this year, probably around 38 wins next year, 38 to 40 wins next year. If you just made no moves, just let them continue to develop. 38 to 40 next year. And then the year after that, they'd be around 40 to 45. And then I think they're probably capped. If you just took this roster and just let them improve, didn't make no moves, like I said, I think they eventually get capped like 3 years down the line at around 47 wins. And the only way that they get higher than that, if you just simply made no moves at all, is if multiple guys became shooters. Like, Stu would have had to become a really good shooter, and so would Killian. And K would have became a superstar by then. If K became a superstar and he had spacing, then I think you could literally just take this squad. If you just let them develop for 3 years, they maybe cap out like 48 wins, and they'd be in the playoffs like consistently. That's without moves. With moves, I think they do that next year. That's where I'm at with it. Paolo does look like an immediate 2010 and 4. Yeah, I think he could come in and put numbers up. But like I've said many times, I think rookies are usually terrible defensively, and they usually struggle with efficiency, which usually translates to wins, losses. So I don't know. I'm interested to see Orlando, though. Orlando is another team that I'm really interested to watch. I think they got a fun, good team over there. So Paolo's in a better position, I think, than the Pistons are, because he got guys around him. Like, some of those guys are in like their 4th, 5th year already. Like, Wendell Carter Jr. is already like closing in on his prime. Like, Markelle Fultz has been in the league for like 4 or 5 years now. Like, a lot of these guys, he has a lot of guys over there who are young guys who are entering into what should be their prime. The Pistons don't have that yet. They're not there. I think the Pistons will have their guys entering their prime like 2 years. 2 years will be when they're really reaching their prime, or getting to the beginning of their prime, if you consider like 25 years old, around that area. The hate comes from you keeping it too. Yeah, I know. Everyone likes everyone. I understand everyone loves positivity. Everyone loves like the slappy, optimistic stuff. I'm very optimistic too. I just feel like, I guess I'm not as optimistic as everybody else, and people don't like that. Like, I think this is the difference. I'll give you a fine example. I've been saying that I think 23 wins to 30 wins is a great improvement. I'd be excited about that. But then everyone else feels like going from 23 to 30 isn't an improvement, and I'm hating on them. When I think 7 wins for a young team improvement is like, like, I feel like that's a lot. But I guess that's not being optimistic. I don't get it. I appreciate your content point of view on the Pistons. Keep up the good work. I appreciate you, man. Detroit versus everybody, you know it. Absolutely. Troy makes Van Gundy look incompetent. Yeah, I liked SVG as the coach. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I've always liked SVG as a coach, but GM, he was not. He made a lot of mistakes that like dug him in a hole. Great show. I appreciate you. Just woke up. I'm with you about Kojo, but I understand the reasoning. I'm more upset about Rodney McGruder. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I was kind of confused about Rodney McGruder coming back for real. I kind of confused. I thought they'd bring Kojo and then let Rodney go, or bring back Rodney and let Kojo go. I didn't know that they would bring both of them back. I get why they did, though. I just didn't think both would come back. Coaching scheme plays is huge. Yeah, I agree. I might just be affected by hearing you talk about Detroit with outside people and letting them disrespect the team. But I got in trouble for checking on people on that, so I probably go too far. See, this is the thing. Like, just for everyone who watched the episode, I feel like I know what episode you're talking about, one with Josh Eberly. This is the thing. I've told you guys this before on the podcast. Many times I've told you guys this. When I bring guys on from outside Detroit, it's literally to get an outside perspective on Detroit. So I'm not going to sit here and like try to stop them from their opinion. Like, I didn't know what his opinion was before. Like, I was just as shocked as you guys. I had no clue that he was that low on the Pistons. Like, I even feel like he was way too low on the Pistons, especially Kate. But I want to hear their thoughts. I want to hear how people outside Detroit feel about them, so then I can go back and be like, okay, they brought this up. Do I need to reevaluate this? Am I being too biased? Let me reevaluate stuff. And then I feel more comfortable with that. I don't want to just be talked or hear from people that agree with me and are hoping for the same things at me. Like I want to hear outside people. I want to hear that stuff. So when he came on, a lot of people wanted me like cut him off and like tell him to stop talking or like, try to limit his opinions. No, that was the whole point of bringing him on. I wanted to hear how people outside. I didn't agree with it. I was shocked by it too, like I said. But that was the whole point of bringing him on. I wanted to see like what's the idea, what's the mind on people from people on the Pistons right now. Are they as high as us Pistons fans? Are they a little bit lower? Are they really low? Like that was the whole point of it. So it wasn't, you guys weren't supposed to be like, oh God, he's right, the Pistons suck. Like, no, it was just to, like, you need to, like, I just feel like that everyone needs to, and everyone in any Pistons, or not Pistons, in any fan base needs to hear from people outside their fan base so they can try to keep a level head. Because if you're constantly just listening to people who agree with you all the time, you'll never check your own thoughts. And that's something I always try to do. I always want to check my own thoughts. I always want to continue to like update my opinions and make sure I'm keeping up. I don't want to be biased or anything. That's my whole thing. But I will say to you guys again, he was way lower on the Pistons than I thought. It shocked me for real when the way he was talking about Cade, especially. I feel like you guys probably could see on my face. I was like I was shocked. I didn't think he was that low on the Pistons. Glad you're putting on for the city. Yes, sir. I had one of you guys DM'd me on Twitter. Yes, this is a tattoo of the Skyline of Detroit. One of you guys were like, what's that tattoo? It's the Skyline. I have it on, like, the lines of a basketball. I have it just like as a line on the basketball run across. So yes, it's the Skyline of Detroit. It's not like the skyline of some other city. Like, one of you guys were like, "Is that the Skyline of Detroit? What city do you think it is?" like I'm not gonna get a skyline of some other city. I feel like we'll just be outside the playoffs until Casey's contract is over. That could be possible. Fans want hopium, but none of the Locked On Pistons hosts sold opium. Keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Chances of Ivy being a bust. I feel like Ivy is like, I feel like that might have been one of the reasons why he fell to 5, is that he has a very high ceiling. But I also feel like he has a pretty low floor. I don't think he is going to bust. I think you have to put the chances of any pick busting at I think at least 10%. So I'd put it like 10%. I think he ends up somewhere in between. The most realistic thing, obviously, is that he ends up somewhere between his ceiling and his floor. But in order for him to get to his ceiling, he has to improve like his half-court game, his decision-making, all that stuff. But I don't think he's going to be a bust. I think if you had to put like a percentage on it, I think you'd have to go like 10%, just because every pick has a chance of being a bust. Good points. Great live tonight. Yeah, man, I just want to go on and talk with y'all for a second, man. I was really bored, for real. I've played like 30 Madden games today, man. I'm a try hard. I'm a gamer at heart, bro. Like I'm a try hard. I got 30 games in Madden, bro. Like I've been gaming all day. I need a break. I need a break for real, because Madden was making me like lose hair. I don't know if you guys are playing the new Madden yet, but man, my God, dude, like it can really infuriate you for real. Yeah, that ceiling is probably about 30. Yeah, I agree. That point, Pistons need to add somebody who can upgrade offense or defense with execution and clutch moments. Yeah, they'll do that next offseason. I think they'll upgrade. Levert, okay, we're at 53 minutes. My goodness, I did not mean to go this long. Levert, Spider, Allen, Mobley, how many times do we play them this year? Great rivalry. We're going to be playing them 4 times this year. We'll also be playing the Bucks 4 times. We'll also be playing the Bulls 4 times. It's a gauntlet. It's a gauntlet, for real. The Pistons, the Central Division just got deep. It got deep. And the fact you have to play those guys each 4 times, I think that impacts. Like, the Pistons need to be able to accumulate talent to rival them, because you're playing them 4 times a year. You need to be able to like split. Like, I think you have to. I know division doesn't matter as much in basketball as like NFL and stuff, but I still am of the belief that you should probably like be competitive within your division. You need to like at least split in your division to feel good. What's up, bro? Are you from Detroit and a fan? Or are you just a fan but not from Detroit? I was born in Detroit. I was born in St. John's Hospital. I lived in Detroit for like my first 4 years of being alive, and then I moved. My mom moved me out to. What was it? I think my mom moved me out to Selby Township because she wanted me to be in a better school district. And then we moved down to Tennessee or Alabama when I was 7 years old. And that was when I encountered That's when I encountered racism for the first time ever. That was quite the experience. And I'm light skinned. I'm not even dark skinned, but yeah, that was when I experienced that. And then my mom moved me back. My mom probably realized, yeah, that's probably not a good idea to be down there as a mixed kid. So she moved me back down here. I've been living in Metro Detroit since I was like 9 years old, I think, 10 years old. So wait, did dude say Cade isn't good, or did he just say the team isn't that good? Because it's true, but without context. I haven't watched the episode yet. Yeah, I'd suggest you just go and watch the episode. He wasn't very high on any of the Pistons, like any of the guys. He was also very low on Sadiq. I know you guys love Sadiq. I think he was even lower than I am on Sadiq. Like, you guys are like here with Sadiq. I'm like probably like right here with Sadiq. He was like way down here. And he also was saying that he didn't think Cade would be a number one on a championship team, which I think, like, saying that Cade, you don't know if Cade's going to be the number one on a championship team. Like, obviously, like being a number one on a championship team, you have to be like a top 7 player. So it's obviously a hefty goal he has to get to. We believe he can. So I wasn't too like furious about that because it is hard. So I get why someone would just say, oh, I don't know if he does that yet. But he went on and like, I just think you should go watch it. He was definitely much lower than some other people I've talked to outside Detroit. He's much lower on the team in general than a lot of people. So I think you guys should go probably just go, if you haven't seen, go watch it so you guys can hear how he felt. I don't want to put words in his mouth. Prediction of our record versus the Cavs, 1-3. I think they can sneak one. Division is slept on. You probably can't be less than third to make the playoffs. Yeah, for real. I know, again, like I said, I don't think the division matters obviously as much as football and NFL and stuff, but I still think you need to be, right, like competitive in your division and like beat your division teams. At least like have a 500 record or just below 500. Like you need to be competitive, right? The Bulls, they're nasty too. Yeah, I really like the Bulls. I think without Lonzo though, they're not going to be that good. Lonzo, I think, is really important to them, but yeah, I like the Bulls nonetheless, though. Bro, similar background. I was born in St. John's, Detroit. My birthday tomorrow, by the way. Happy birthday, man. My mom moved me out to Sterling Heights. Lived in Memphis, have more family. Man, that's really close. My God, that's like really close to my story. Yeah, that's really close. Happy birthday, though, man. Happy early birthday. I thought Bay was a top 10 pick during the draft of my research. Yeah, if you went back and redrafted, I think he probably is a top 10 pick. Actually, I'm interested. If we went, is Sadiq a top 5 pick in his draft? Who was in his draft? Who was Sadiq's draft? I'm trying to think. That was Killian's draft. So it was Melo, Ant, Wiseman. That was Patrick Williams, right? Patrick Williams. I can't remember a lot of them, but I think Sadiq probably would go top 5. Just ignorant opinion right now. I haven't looked. So it's an ignorant statement right now, but I think like just saying it right now, I think he probably would be a top 5. The truth is, we probably closer to his opinion than Detroit fans' opinions. Oh yeah, that's that. I think we're probably in the middle. Like from his opinion to Detroit fans' opinion, it always is. The truth is always somewhere in the middle. It always is. Rarely is it ever the extreme this way or the extreme that way. It's probably somewhere in the middle. But like I said, I will say that he was much lower on the Pistons than some of the other guys I talked to that are outside Detroit, some other national writers and stuff. He was much lower than those guys were. But it's what it is. Some people aren't as high on the team. That's fine. You have to wait and see how it goes. Is it crazy to say that Cade will still be the best player on the court when we play the Cavs? This year? I don't want to say crazy because that makes it sound like it's disrespectful to Cade. I don't think he will be. I think that's a little bit too much. The Cavs has had like 4 All-Stars. So like I don't think he'll be the best player yet. Eventually I think he will because he has the defensive side that will make him better than those 2 guards. So hey, Ku, I'm honestly a huge fan. Been watching your content for a while. Love everything you do. Appreciate you, bro. I love hearing that. Appreciate you. All right, bro. I'm going to answer these last questions. I'm going to get out of here. We literally went for an hour live. What other Lockdown hosts are doing this? What other content creators? What other Piston guys are doing this, talking to his squad for a whole hour randomly just coming on here to talk, man, while also doing daily content for y'all. We grind over here. Locked On Pistons fan base. We grind over here, bro. We grinders over here. Safe night, y'all. Stay safe, Matt. Stay safe, man. You think we probably won, maybe 2 versus the Bulls? Yeah, probably 2, because like I said, I need to see when they play the Bulls. Because they're playing the Bulls without Lonzo, I think they can sneak some in. But DeMar, I think, is really going to... DeMar is always hard for the Pistons. He's always been hard to guard for them. So I think he may just go crazy. Sadiq definitely would be high in the redraft with 3-and-D in his drive to get better. If Sadiq can actually become a good defender, like that changes a lot of things for him. Like I think he needs to... Like he was supposed to be a great shooter. He shoots like 9 attempts a game, but he only shoots at a 35% clip. So I think if he he doesn't even have to improve like the ISO game. Like I think if he simply just gets like 38% in that volume while also being a good defender, like he's getting paid $20+ million easily. Like easy. Ant, Wiseman, LaMelo, Tyrese Halliburton, Desmond Bane. Ant, Wiseman. Would Wiseman? I don't know if Wiseman would go. Wiseman's dealt with a lot of injuries. So Ant, LaMelo, Tyrese, Desmond Bane. Yeah, right there I think I'd have Sadiq 5. Doesn't Orlando have just as good a young core as the Pistons? Orlando has a really good young core. I really like what Orlando has going on over there. I'm a really big fan of Markelle Fultz, but Wendell Carter Jr. was really good for them last year. He looked like the pick the Bulls made with him. He looked like that guy again, or for the first time, really. I really like Orlando's core. So I don't know. I think you would say Cade's still the best prospect out of those guys. But Paolo going there, them getting Paolo is really like... Paolo's really good. I think he's going to be really good. So I think Orlando's just as good as the Pistons young core. I think they're around the same thing. It's going to be interesting to see how they grow together. Both those teams against each other. But yeah, I really like Orlando's team. You need to get everything King on an episode. That'd be a good comment. We had King on the episode. We had King on the episode I think 2 weeks ago. Actually, I'm bad with time. It might have been a little bit longer than 2 weeks ago. I'll get him back on the episode, though. We just had him on. I want to say in like the last month we had him on. But I'll get him back on again. Definitely love talking with King, man. King did a lot of good stuff for me when I was starting back in like 2017. He shouted out my own YouTube page, Koo's Ballroom. It helped me get up to like 600 subscribers, which was like a lot for me. He's done a lot for me back then. So love talking with King. What's up, Koo? Agree. Sadiq would probably be 5. Yep. I think who was suffering? I don't know which one you're... Oh, yeah, the Wagner's. Yeah, Franz. Franz is another good one. Franz. Isaac. When Jonathan Isaac comes back, he's like a defensive player of the year guy when he's healthy. Like, the Magic got some stuff going on over there, bro. Like, the Magic are going to be hard. Like, they're going to be hard, man. All right. I think I'm going to wrap it up there, man. I'm going to wrap it up here. I appreciate all of you guys. I haven't heard you... I'll answer this last one. I haven't heard your prediction. How many wins you think we'll get this year? How many wins you got guys getting? All right, so the over and under, let me give you this reason why. The over and under is at 27.5. Every time I've taken the over, they hit the under. So part of me wants to go the under because I've been screwed over so many times with the Pistons over under. But I do think that they'll improve in some wins simply because of Cade. And with some improvements, some other guys, I have them hovering around 28 to 31 wins, somewhere around there. 28 to 31 wins. I think if they can get that kind of improvement, that would be a great... I think if they get to 28 to 30 wins, that tells you that a lot of the guys got better. They still need to grow, obviously, because they were a great team. But I think 7 wins is enough to say, yeah, they probably saw a lot of these younger guys get better. They were just really young, didn't know how to close games. And they need some vets, which they'll get next offseason, then they'll be ready to go. So I think 28 to 31 wins. That's why I got them right there. I think that would be a great improvement. 7 wins for a young team is really good. Need advice. My wife caught me sitting on... You almost got me to read that one. that reminds me of like the streamers, when streamers are like... when someone subs to a streamer and they have like a weird name, they say it out loud and they get caught. You almost got me. But I read it ahead of time. You almost got me. Sadiq was suffering from a lack of touches. Yeah, I think at the beginning he was getting a lot of touches. I think he got his fair share of touches when Jeremy wasn't in the lineup. I'll say that. I think they tried to get him a lot of touches in general, but he definitely got more when Jeremy wasn't playing. I don't even know who Deenda is, but appreciate you. Sub to the channel if you haven't already. I appreciate you. last season, at least 8 losses can be attributed to injuries. But injuries happen every year too, though. So, like, knock on wood. I'm editing this stream, bro. This fishing spot dude is getting me, bro. I'm gonna just stop reading this count. I'm gonna get out of here, bro. Y'all getting crazy. y'all getting crazy out here. Y'all need to chill out. All right, bro. Appreciate y'all coming in, bro. For real. Appreciate y'all. Such short notice coming in here and having fun with us. I'll try to do this more often. Like randomly, I'll just go live and like talk with y'all. Try to do that a little bit more often. This is fun. Like talking with y'all, not in like a podcast setting where I have to read ads and all that stuff. Just like talking with y'all. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. Hope you guys have a great night. Next week, hopefully we'll be having Sada Baby on the podcast. I think that's going to be incredibly fun. If we can finally hammer down a date next week, which I think we are. So stay tuned for that. But anyways, guys, appreciate all of y'all tuning in. Have a great night, man. I'm going to get back to playing some Madden. Pray for me. But I'll see you guys later. Peace out, everybody.